Well, welcome back to the Piney Woods Homestead, y'all. This black walnut dropped exactly where I needed it to. Things growing all kinds of crooked every which way, but I've got about 12 feet of good, usable log here to put on the sawmill. So that's what we're doing today, y'all. Taking down a black walnut, putting it on the EZ Boardwalk Jr, and getting some nice 1-inch boards. Guys, thanks for stopping in here at the Piney Woods. Hit that like and subscribe if you hadn't. And y'all, if you have, as always, y'all, we do appreciate it. So y'all, a friend of mine texted me the other day and he said, hey, you got any black walnut? And I thought, scratched my head, and I said, yeah, I do. Because I had that one standing down there on the edge of the garden. Needed to come out anyways. I've been letting it grow now for about 9 or 10 years almost. Just to get a little bit bigger because they're slow growing trees. But the heart looks pretty good. This is that upper section. I got 2 8-foot logs out of it. The rest of it, y'all, I'll get at later, will be firewood. But I believe I can get still a few decent boards out of this top section, the main trunk. And I'll get plenty of good ones out of that first section. So let's fire up the EZ Boardwalk Jr. and see if we can get some good boards for carpentry work. And not just framing or anything like that. This is for fine and creative woodworking. That's what this gentleman does. And I'll make sure I get him some good grade boards. Now for the most part, I've gotten all the wane off of this, and I got a couple wide 1-inch boards over there that I'll edge up when I'm done with the main portion of this log. And y'all, you're not left with a bunch on a crooked log like this to work with, but right now I've got basically about a 6x8 cant. And what I'm going to do, instead of doing straight through cuts like I do on pine, it doesn't move a whole lot, I'm basically going to take a board, flip, take a board, looking at the pith, looking at how the grains are growing, so that I can hopefully get this stuff to where it's going to air dry without warping all up on the man that's getting it. So he'll have a good product by the time that we're done. So let me see what I can do and get this one done, and we'll throw the other one on. Now that one's going to warp a little bit. That was the last of those side cuts I had done. But I was able to get all 6-inch boards out of this. I flipped the cant a time or two, but I noticed that even though the grain appeared to be what I was wanting to cut, there was tension in that log because there was curves in it. So actually it cut better after just flipping it a couple times, going by the end grain, and then doing a through cut all the way to the pith. And I ended up with an 1.5 inch pith board that I'll keep here and use for something. But out of that one log, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 8-foot long 1x6s. And even these that are edge pieces, he can put them on a table saw, rip them down a little bit further, put some straps around them as they're air drying, paint the ends with some latex paint or anchor seal, and this walnut will dry fairly quick inside. And then he'll be able to use it for whatever he wants to do. Now I would have loved to have had about a 24-inch diameter tree to put on the mill. This one is only 14-inch diameter, but it's the only one that we've got down there as far as I know. And y'all, you sell what you got so you can pay bills. And we're thankful that the man needed some black walnut. I'm gonna get this other one on here, do a little time lapse, get it milled up, and then we'll take a look at the finished product, y'all. All right, so out of those two 8-foot, 14-inch diameter black walnut logs that I took down this morning on the side of the garden and got on the mill, I ended up with 54.5 usable board feet. There was another probably 7 to 10 board feet that didn't make the cut, not something that I would sell, so I reserved that for myself to use. Isn't that funny how we always put the best stuff out to somebody else and keep the seconds for ourselves? That's just the way it goes. But y'all, it looks pretty good. A lot of people will say, I don't like that sapwood. I love that look, y'all. And I've got enough of that wane off into that sap that it should dry pretty good, especially since I tried to go with looking at the end grain, turn in as I needed to make for a more even drying process, and kept the pith out of it. Although I think I got one on here that's got the pith in it, but it didn't look that bad, so I believe he'll enjoy having that. Just a little bit thicker board. But different random sizes, y'all. Everything from 1x6s to 1x7.5 to I think a 1x5 or 2 on here. So when you're turning that cant, trying to get your cut maximized for drying, you're going to end up with some variations in width of boards. But for what he's doing, he'll be air drying them, planing them down, cutting them down even further, probably on a table saw, and doing some really neat stuff, engraving, inlays. There's no telling what he'll end up doing with this beautiful black walnut. Well, y'all, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning as we took down that walnut down in the garden area. I'll get the rest out later for firewood. I hate busting black walnut for firewood, but some of that stuff ain't just good. Just ain't no good for the meal, so it'll be great for firewood. And y'all, we really appreciate those that have been buying beard balm and candles. Y'all, that helps us out. Every little bit does around here. Believe it or not, we are not made of money, but what we are made out of, I believe, is better than that. Guys, y'all have a good day, a great week, and Lord willing, and the creek don't rise too high, y'all. We'll see you on the next one.